Welcome to BitAsk. Investing in crypto is no easy job. We will make your job easy. Compared with the bland nature of the internet era, Hong Kong has had considerable success in the early days of blockchain. At the end of 2018, the Hong Kong government also released a regulatory framework on virtual assets, which is relatively clear on the application of blockchain and financial regulation. The star project Sandbox is from Hong Kong and become more popular around the world. Of course, Hong Kong also has strong competitors, not to mention the rising neighbor, Singapore. Under such competitive pressure, is it possible for Hong Kong to take the lead in the Web3 era? Today, we have the honor to have Emil Chan. He is the chairman of Fintech Committee of Smart City Consortium, Hong Kong. So please join me. Let's start a BitAsk. Mr. Chan, welcome to the BitAsk. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your time share with all the audience your knowledge regarding the whole blockchain, particularly in the Hong Kong market. So we have a few interesting questions I want to hear from you. First one, I would say the development of blockchain has gone through multiple stages, from the early public chain, now to DeFi, to NFT, then to Metaverse. The underlying technology and the popular applications are always the key focus. So what is the level of blockchain infrastructure in Hong Kong?
Well, Hong Kong is an international city. So we were quite famous in traditional finance, and we still rank the third largest market in terms of traditional transaction or market cap. But in terms of the decentralized finance, unfortunately, because of the very rigid regulatory concern or a very sensitive position, sandwiched between China and United States. So under the very special climate, a lot of traditional transaction, as you know, the transaction volume of the Hong Kong exchange shrank 30% this year. So I think in order to maintain Hong Kong's competitiveness, I think in the past few years, there are not many people focusing on the decentralized finance development in Hong Kong, particularly at the regulatory level. But as you know, I think slightly more than a year ago, we got the OSL got the Cat 7 license, so that the first digital exchange license one established in Hong Kong. But as you know, they are restricted in trading professional investors, as clients. So we are yet to serve retail clients. So that's why a lot of international digital exchange selected to move out from Hong Kong. Otherwise, they have to rely on the OTC transaction. So in my eyes, I think because of these activities are moving out from Hong Kong, there are less and less professional or skillful blockchain practitioner still staying in Hong Kong. So they have two flows. So the first one is the traditional one. They were too strong, but now they are not as strong as before. So I think in order to maintain the competitiveness, so the traditional financial services company, they will open up the market. So as you know, you will find that one power of Hong Kong is that on the metaverse or the NFT side, we have Sandbox, okay, which is very famous lately because it's backed by, say, New World And also lately, we have a lot of companies or banks, Standard Chartered Bank, HSBC, South China Morning Post, the media. And then lately, the Hong Kong MTR, okay, the Metro Service Company. So I think in the past few months, the climate changed a lot, okay? And on top of that, just yesterday, okay, HKMA announced a discussion paper about the usage or issuing EHKD, the digital form of Hong Kong dollar. So there will be, I think, a very big news to digitize Hong Kong's financial service industry.
Thank you for sharing. Let's see, just like you say, Hong Kong has a very strong traditional financial basis. And some of the blockchain company, yeah, was started in Hong Kong, but some of them already left. Hong Kong is still trying to recap and issuing new license and also deploy some of the idea or strategy like a digitalization in the currency wise in Hong Kong. So that's good things. And follow you, what do you say? Sandbox. Now it's kind of a stock company. Luckily, it's in Hong Kong, investing by Hong Kong company actually.
Yeah.
And let's say, and also we know Sandbox are very popular in Hong Kong. So do you think the trend of these Web3 applications are now widespread in Hong Kong? Or what is the long-term value means for Hong Kong for projects like Sandbox so successful?
Well, I can't tell whether, in long run, I do not have the crystal ball, but I think through Sandbox, a lot of people, despite the fact that they have no interest about digital finance or DeFi, they learn that something is happening. And they learn that the traditional companies, like HSBC, they are taking part in the metaverse via Sandbox. So I think it is a very good example or a showcase for the local Hong Kong traditional finance practitioner to upskill themselves, okay? Because if you read my articles, I always claim that the traditional banking is shrinking, and if Hong Kong just focus only on the traditional finance services, there will be no future. So not only mainland China, they are focusing on digitizing everything, the business, the tax system, and the identity. So the, Hong Kong, in my eyes, is part of the GBA, and if all the cities, in the GBA area all digitized except Hong Kong, it will be disastrous. So I just mentioned because of these the Sandbox feeder or a lot of sizable company, they are taking part in such a arena. So well, I personally provide training to traditional financial practitioners, and only in the past month or two, I receive a lot of inquiries. Okay, for sure, it include the sizable bank in Hong Kong, and I can feel that the sense to upskill themselves in the decentralized finance or digital finance demand is quite high at the moment. So once again, the digital Hong Kong dollar. So imagine if next year there will be an announcement that there will be a Hong Kong dollar EHKD, and then the wallet. Imagine. So we learned to how to use at the very beginning MetaMask, solely because we want to trade ETH, for example. Then if EHKD, and currently, as everybody knows, the ECNY is widely available in most of the cities in mainland China. So the demand to use a digital wallet, which can trade Hong Kong dollar and remit RMB on the fly, will change the behavior, how we do business. You might not aware that despite the fact that we have Octopus for so many years, 20-something years, and a lot of people, they believe that they are already, in the electronic payment. But the problem is that Octopus heavily relying on cash, credit installment, or not installment, I mean to top up the wallet. People queue up at the 7-Eleven, or people, use a very traditional way to top up the wallet. So in my eyes, it is not a true electronic payment platform. And also because of the data are being locked in by the Octopus system, because of we still are looking for a better personal data privacy acts in Hong Kong. So without such a digital or personal privacy ordinance, nobody can use the data comfortably. So with the EHKD, and if I can use EHKD in the, for example, MetaMask wallet, so I think the whole world, not only Hong Kong citizen, can use the same wallet and square the position, not only to USDT or USDC. They can use EHKD, which is issued probably by BOC, HSBC, those largest bank in the world. So there will be much lesser risk, to the credit risk with Tether, then I will pick, if I were, a trader in, for example, Indonesia or Malaysia or Singapore. Okay, Hong Kong dollar EHKD will be the best base currency I will use, because it's pegged with US dollar. So I think in the past we did not have enough power or supporting system to make Hong Kong transform from the traditional finance to the digital finance. But with such a EHKD, and lately HKMA also announced that they will join the other regulators all over the world to regulate stablecoin, particularly for the payment type of stablecoin. So the market in the world, they will consider. So if I am using a stablecoin, for example, USDT is under the regulatory, the regime, I think they will prefer using, as long as I have to do under the regulatory regime, I would rather use a much reliable one. So it will be a EHKD. So I think the climate will change a lot in a year or two.
Okay, so you are very optimistic that Hong Kong will be more embracing the whole, I would say, the digital world in the blockchain era. Maybe I just follow one more question. Just you already mentioned about some kind of fusion about the tradition, say fiat-based digital currency into a metaverse through e-wallet. People feel comfortable. That's because they can recognize and they can use it. And not just Hong Kong, because we notice that quite a lot of cities or even countries around the world already announce, say, we have a metaverse big projects like Dubai, like different places, right? But it's because you are the chairman of the FinTech Committee of the Smart City Consortium. A smart city must be associated with the digital, right? So does Hong Kong has a kind of similar projects towards the metaverse world or Web3 world?
Not there yet. Not only Hong Kong's lagging behind in the metaverse development, but the traditional smart city blueprint. I personally am not satisfied with the previous blueprint the government laid down. So it's not it's a lack of some vision to make Hong Kong digital. One important thing I just mentioned about data privacy, that's the personal data privacy, is not there yet. The other matter is that the open data. Okay, so talk about the financial services industry. In Europe, we have the PSD2, the open banking. So they promote that because the bank, due to the sensitivity of data within the bank, the European Parliament, okay, those very smart soul invented this concept to let AISP and PISP sandwich between the customer and the bank. And as long as they share the customer with the consent under the GDPR, regime, then the data, can stay outside the banking system. So if the data can stand outside the banking system, the robot, the AI engine, can use the data to predict or to monetize everything within the open banking system. In Hong Kong, when the HKMA adopt the similar concept, Hong Kong cannot do the same because there is no digital infrastructure over there to regulate the personal data. There's no open data, okay, project, such as in New York, such as in Taiwan, such as in London. They all are part of the constitution laid down by the mayor when they run for the election. But in Hong Kong, we do not have such a position to promote open data. So if there's no open data and there's no solid personal data ordinance, like just laid down a PIPL in China even. So I think, despite the fact that we have these EHKD, which is very good for bridging the traditional finance with the digital finance, we are yet to ready on providing a digital infrastructure for the whole world to use Hong Kong to store the data, to install or to allow the AI algorithm to train themselves to make Hong Kong the best platform for everybody to understand more about financial activities. So I will keep myself, okay, busy on lobbying the government or ask the industry to create or to build a proper digital infrastructure for that purpose.
Yeah, I can tell you have a great vision, and that I can say Hong Kong at the infrastructure level, particularly at the database, still need a long-term like a strategic planning, which then can help really Hong Kong can catch up the next wave of the opportunity in the blockchain era. So I follow what you say, like Hong Kong is international financial center, and you are familiar with banks. So many banks, they are studying on the blockchain technical in traditional financial markets, maybe in-house. They are trying to see how they can help. Something already has been implemented, maybe at different levels. And in particular, recently we note that HSBC has launched a metaverse investment product. It's a fund which put Asia as a priority. So does that mean Hong Kong's financial institutions may be kind of first mover to embrace the virtual worlds in Asia?
Yes, definitely, because of the population size in Asia, which is much larger than the rest of the world. So for metaverse, and which is technically has to be governed by the community. So the more people the community has, it will be more solid and more reliable, than imagine if Switzerland have such a project and the community size is just within Switzerland. It won't be as powerful as even say Indonesia. Okay, even though the GDP of Indonesia is much lesser than Switzerland, but in the metaverse, we may not count that GDP in the traditional world. It depends on, how many things or how many assets or how much value that the individuals in the metaverse can build. So HSBC, they got the most income generated within Asia. So I think it's quite logical for them to lean on this Asian metaverse development. So very logical. And if they take the lead, so such that I just mentioned Standard Chartered Bank also take part lately in the Sandbox, then there will be more DBS. And perhaps what I'm interested in finding out is the Chinese bank. It is a problem to them because under the law, they cannot touch cryptocurrencies. So there will be a deficiency for this international Chinese bank to take the lead. So, but I also very interested in to see, because the China internet is technically the largest intranet within the internet. So that special intranet. So I believe that everything will be under the guidance from the central government. I think the NFT issuing, the cryptocurrency issuing will be in a better order, and the development life cycle will be faster. So I'm very interested in take part in the say like BSN, okay, in China, red dates. So if such a system, because BSN is for the China Mobile and the Union Pay, so it is from the traditional industry. So if something transform the system within China, can let the snowball roll, then Hong Kong as the middleman between the Western world and the Eastern world, or the Western metaverse and the Eastern metaverse, will definitely benefit from it. Okay, and nobody can take a sanction with this under this new system. Okay, so the faster the Chinese metaverse develop, the better Hong Kong in such a position to bridge the West and the East, or the using the blockchain terms, permissionless metaverse and the permission metaverse.
Thank you, Mr. Chan.